Larry Stewart of Restless Heart, lead singer of the group, joining us on the show here today. Larry, how are you doing? It's so nice of you to join us.
Well, doing great. We're doing great. We're looking forward to hitting the road again for this year, and looking forward to coming north of the border. It's been a long, long time.
Well, it's 30 years of celebrating of Restless Heart. You never think that you'd still be going out there on the road 30 years later?
Man, we didn't know what to think, as we've gone through the years. I remember when we got started, all the critics said these guys won't be together in 2 years. And so at least we proved them wrong. But, it's the original five guys, and it's about going on 31 years now, and we just feel very blessed. It didn't come without some bumps in the road along the way, and especially in the 90s, we kind of shut it down for a little bit, and just had to get away and get our feet firmly planted on the ground again, and got back together, and thought we'd just do a few shows, and that turned into being together for another 13 years. And we're still at it, so we feel very lucky.
Well, during that little break as well, you went out and did some solo projects on your own. But Restless Heart all came together, all because of Tim Dubois, who was the one who had gotten this group there together.
Yeah, he was an accounting professor at Vanderbilt University. He's a songwriter, and he had written a couple of big hits for Alabama, and she got the gold mine, I got the shaft for Jerry Reed, and so he had some money saved up, and his vision was to put together a band, because back then there weren't really bands going on much in country music. Alabama kicked that door open and allowed for the band kind of guys, not quartets or vocal stuff, like the Oak Ridge Boys or the Statlers, but so that was his dream, and we all worked together here in Nashville. He moved here with a few guys from Oklahoma, and he actually taught our guitar player, Greg Jennings, in an accounting class. And one thing led to another, and he put his hard-earned money, on the line with us, and taking us in the studio, and we signed with RCA, and the rest is history.
Well, your first single that you guys had put out there when was it? Back in 1985, I believe?
It was January of 1985. It was Let the Heartache Ride.
And from then on, a lot of great songs that were put out by the group. I'll Still Be Loving You. I mean, that's one that I think everybody knows. Fast Moving Train, Bluest Eyes in Texas, quite popular.
Yeah, they've been awful good to us. That Rock Won't Roll was our first #1 record. And Why Does It Have to Be Wrong or Right was a #1 record. So we had 7 #1s there in a row, kind of, right out of the box of our second second album, which was called Wheels. And we were, our heads were spinning. We didn't know what in the heck was going on. We were all of a sudden then we were on the road with Alabama and Reba McEntire and Hank Williams Jr. and on and on and on, playing in front of a lot of people. It just really happened fast for us, as opposed to kind of what's going on now, that these artists have to kind of, wait in the wings for their turn and try to, wait tables or whatever they can do to eat and feed their families until they get a chance. And so we were very lucky for it to happen pretty quick back then. And the business was different back then. Things happen faster back then than it does now, and so we were very lucky to be able to put out some music, and all of a sudden, radio and the country music fans out there accepted it, and we were off and running, and we really appreciate it. And that's why we're still together. We really felt like we realized what a great run we had, and just to think that there are country music fans out there that still want to hear those songs that we really enjoy hitting the stage and playing or singing together.
Yeah. Larry, when you've got a group there together like that, I'm sure there's probably some differences that you might encounter. But one thing for certain is that you're all there because of the love of music. How are you able to, work together with a group of guys and still, be as solid as you were 30 years later?
Yeah, well, the thing is that it was harder back then. It was harder when we were having our successes, when we were having number one records, and we were out doing 140 shows a year and playing in front of a lot of people. And I know that sounds weird, but it was just so tough because you're being pulled in so many different directions by a label, by a manager, by a booking agency, by a publicist, by just the business, and to try to get five guys on the same page and to get along and have the same vision. And that's a tough thing to do when maybe all of you aren't on the same page musically or business wise. And so 30 years later, we're all on the same page. I mean, we work through those things. It's kind of like being in a marriage. You work through those tough parts. You work through those things, and you give and take, and you get to, you get through, all the storms of life or storms of the career, and then, where we sit now, we're not pulled in a million different directions. We know what our job is. We know who we are. We know what we're supposed to do. We love doing it. And there's just there's the pressures that have been lifted. We don't have a pressure to have a number one song next week or to get so many ads at radio next week. It's put the fun back into making music. It's more, we're doing more what we did when we were young, playing in bands and learning how to our craft in our garage or playing a club or something. Now it's kind of like that, and so we really, it's just so much more fun now.
We got Larry Stewart, lead singer of the group Restless Heart, with us here on the program today. And, Larry, I do have to say, in addition to, fronting the group, being there in front and center with Restless Heart, you do a lot of songwriting of your own. And I recently found out, I was not aware of this, but you contributed to Faith Hill's debut album with the song But I Will, which was actually one of my favorite songs off that album of hers.
Well, you know what? As luck would have it, well, thank you for that. But, that was like her first failed single. She was on a roll, man. She was having number one, and she put out But I Will, and I thought, oh, my gosh, this is going to be great. Faith Hill is going to have a big hit on my song, and, it failed miserably. So I'm going, man, it's just not in the cards for me, man. Every time I get a song cut by somebody, it either doesn't make the album, and I finally get a single out. It didn't do too good for her. So anyway, that's kind of been a joke over the years. But I appreciated her recording that song. I also did a duet with her on that album called I've Got This Friend, and that was a lot of fun. So I still do some songwriting, not nearly as much as I used to. With some of the young folks and working on some projects, and just kind of keep my hand in it as much as I can. But with the Restless Heart, we're on the road a lot and actually working on a project or two ourselves, and so it's kind of focusing in on that and just looking for the future to keep the music growing.
Well, there is the live CD which is out, and fans could enjoy what they will see in concert or what they will hear in concert if they come on down to the show. What is it like after all these years performing in front of the crowd, and then you've got the audience there in front of you, and they're singing along with your songs?
I know, that's so cool. And what's even cooler is that, we've been around long enough, and that you can go certain parts of, of the country, North America, and you find all these young people singing all the words of your songs. I mean, that's just really cool. I guess, we hear so many great stories about, well, I heard your music when I was a little kid, and my parents listened to your music in the kitchen, and, and all this stuff. And then they grow up, and, and they're still listening to it, and they introduce their friends to it. So, it's really feel blessed, when you hit the stage and you got the folks really reacting to a song or singing along. And, you look out there and there's some people singing every word to every song. It's pretty neat.
The Restless Heart actually put out a Christmas album here as well a while back, and you did a show last year over in Nashville. Are there plans of doing that again for the next holiday season?
We're working on that right now. We're not. We did a 29 shows in 34 days at Gaylord Opryland Hotel there. They've been having a Christmas series there for many, many years. Louis Mandrell and Lori Morgan and many others have done that, and we were the first guys. We were the first dudes to do it, and we were proud of that. We have released our first Christmas album in our whole career. We'd done a couple of Christmas songs for some compilation projects for the label, but never done our own. I don't know why it took us 30 years to do a Christmas album, but we're super proud of it, and we put a fun little Christmas show together, and so we did that there at the Gaylord Opryland. And so this year we're not going to do it there, but we're actually already started booking Christmas shows for the holiday season this year, and looking forward to that. That's one of our favorite things to do. It's just it's different. It's very musical. All those Christmas, and we like the old stuff. We do the classics and all the musical and the harmonies, and it's just some really cool music, and it just kind of gives us kind of a not a break, but something new and something different to look forward to come the holiday season, and bring out those holiday songs. So a lot of fun.
Well, a lot of the fans could look forward to hearing Restless Heart in concert in Sherwood Park on April 28th. Yeah, no Christmas songs.
No Christmas songs this time around.
But be able to hear all the hits from the group. So it's sure going to be a great time and a lot of fun. And Larry, I got to say thank you so much for joining us on the program here today.
Thanks, Wally. Thanks for your time. Enjoyed talking to you. Look forward to seeing everybody at the show.